also the water would drain down into the main shaft, and also by working uphill it helped them locate that white rock that they're looking for in quartz. I'll come back to that in a moment. Behind us, 4 separate compartments. They tried 3 compartments originally, and then they realised that they wasn't getting enough airflow, so they put in the 4th compartment, or used 4 separate ones. The far side is known as the smoke box, more correctly the ventilation shaft. The 2 haulage shafts, that's where the cages run up and down. When they're working, they work on a counterbalance system, 1 cage up, 1 cage down. Okay? The last compartment's the most important one of the lot. Those in front of it can see what it says in there. It is the emergency exit. Ladders. Those ladders hopefully go all the way from the surface down to the very bottom. And if you're working down on level 17, you hope the heck that they go all the way to the top if you have to use them. On 2 occasions, the miners had to climb out from level 17, which is 410 metres down. They never got paid for the time it took them to climb out. And it would take you something like 2 to 2.5 hours to climb from the bottom of this mine. And by Bendigo standards, this mine's very shallow. Okay? Every 5 metres there's a little landing in there, little landing in the trapdoor, climb up your 5 metres, open the trapdoor and step through. Okay? Main shaft's lined with red gum timber, and the water you see is actually from sprays on the surface. We keep that timber nice and wet. Red. Just get you to come in and have a seat, thanks. A metre of sea water. This was all this rock was under the sea. Silt came down off the hills, and we turned into these layers of sandstone and slate, and they built up like that. So we've got these layers. Around about 360 million years ago, there was quite a lot of movement, massive movement in the Earth's surface, and what it did actually compressed and squashed that rock up into hills like that. Now, over a period of time, we've got these hills formed here in Bendigo. There's 37 lines of them running roughly north and south. And that's where most of those 5,000 odd mines were working on the reef system. Just so happens, on the top of these hills, high pressure rocks crack open. Those cracks filled up with a white hot liquid that came up from the centre of the earth and dragged through with it the gold. It's actually, quartz is actually silica or glass. Okay, and when it's set, it had the gold in it. We refer to this as a saddle reef system. It sits on top of the hill like a saddle on a horse's back. Okay, it's one of the best and most well-known saddle reef systems in the world here in Bendigo. A lot of people don't realise that, a lot of locals, but it's the geographics of the places. It's a well-known phenomenon. Anyway, the other thing is, okay, nowadays instead of using timber to support the rock, they use these things. Those up the back might have trouble seeing it. It looks like a piece of pipe. It's hollow, but it has a split running down it. It's actually referred to as a split set. Made out of high-grade steel. Has a ring welded on the top. You work out where you might need to support the rock, you drill a hole in, you hammer that in. They come in different lengths and different diameters. Look around, you'll see those rings. There's plenty of them in this area. So that's the end of one of those things, called a split set. Modern way of supporting the rock. Like I said, this is the most important part, the back. No timber here, so we need to make sure that the back's nice and sound. The back sounds good to me. That piece of rock on the side, not so good. That's how you can tell whether there's an air gap or a broken crack in the rock. Nice solid ring, dull thud. There's actually a crack in behind this piece of rock, running down that way. There's also cracks running horizontally through there. And there's a split set and a big plate holding that rock in place. If that wasn't there, this would ultimately fall off. White lines, they are little veins of quartz. So there's a little bit of quartz starting to appear here. Okay, but there's no gold in it. It's just a bit of a teaser, that one, to let us know there is quartz in the area. So we're going to try and find the main quartz system. What you need to remember is, if it shines, it's usually what we call fool's gold or iron pyrites. Pyrites is a crystal, gold is a metal. You have 1 tonne of gold, that's 2 little rock trucks. Those little trucks, it's 2 of those filled up with white rock. You take it away and crush it. You finish up with about 1/3 of a teaspoon of gold if you're lucky. They process something like 64,000 tonnes of quartz out of this mine to get that 1 metric tonne of gold, or 929 kilos of gold. So, battery. Big feet go up and down, crush the white rock up into a very fine sand. The gold is still in it, of course, so they've got to separate the gold out. Now, gold is very dense. You have 1 cup of gold, you need 19.5 cups of water to balance the scales. Okay, and they use that process, gold being heavy, for it to come out of the quartz in the stamper. They also use mercury. Big bits of gold used to drop down into a mercury bath underneath the stamper feet. So that was the first trap. Second trap was a big copper plate. They used to wash it all down with water over this plate. Small fine bits of gold would get stuck in the mercury. Then they had an open weave blanket, and then the last part was a mechanical gold pan. You feel free when you finish the tour to go down the back. There is a stamper down there, you can have a look at it, okay? Probably won't have time to take you down and run it today, I don't think. Sometimes we try to run it if we can, just to give you an idea of the noise those things made. Okay, so that's your gold. Everyone's seen a bit of gold. Okay, a couple of other things, features here. There's one just here, and another one just in behind there. There's 2 vertical bits of rock running straight up in the bag.
So what are they used for, John?
Airbag, just to freshen the air up. They never had them in the early mines. This one over here, that's the original type they would have used here. It runs on, it's a compressed air turbine. They use the compressed air to spin it up and fan in the centre of it, and it will drag fresh air from one area to another one. That's the style. One miner would pick up a 6 kilogram sledgehammer, and his offside was going to pick up a piece of steel with a point or a chisel bit on it. His job's to turn that, the other guy's job's to strike it. That one's jammed. I'll have to do something else with that one. There's another hole up here somewhere. So you can get the idea anyway. Strike, turn. Strike, turn. Called hammer and tap method of drilling. They used that in 1939 here to open up the shaft here at Central Deborah, because initially they didn't have any compressed air to run the drills. They used hammer and tap method. After about 2 hours, you'd have your hole down about that deep. You changed over every 20 minutes or so. Hammerman would get to become the tap man and vice versa. So, had to be very careful. Don't hit the knuckles of the guy that's holding the tap, because your turn's coming, you know. Okay, just remember that. However, we can go back to 1884. This machine over in the corner, green one over there. There's a hole, sorry, I'll get it right one day. I'll put the steel in, and there's a big steel piston thing in there. Open the valve, and that would go bang, and drive that into the rock. So you cycle it. So it basically is a compressed air hammer, and it used to be the way they used to drill a hole. Okay, you had to turn them by hand though, because there was no automatic system of turning them on the original ones. That goes back to 1884, designed and built here in Bendigo. The term widowmaker came from the fact that that thing would fill this entire area up with dust. No dust mask, no hearing protection, no hand protection, okay? Just the very basics, no hard hats either in the early days, like I said. So you're breathing in the dust. After about 14 years, you'll be dead. It's commonly referred to as the miner's disease or dust disease. But what actually happens is the dust down here is and most in particular the quartz is silica, which is glass. You breathe it in, start to cough, and that will cut the little sacs to pieces in your lungs. Okay, that's the best way of describing it. So you'd actually get this like very fine sandpaper in there when you're coughing, and it used to cut their lungs to pieces. Imagine working with that for 8 hours without any hearing protection. And that's not actually putting a hole in the rock, it's just sitting there. If that was pounding the rock, the noise would be 3 or 4 times worse. Okay? They come out, they were deaf, industrial deafness, their hands would go numb, commonly referred to as white knuckle fever. But the beauty of these machines is this machine will put a hole down 2 metres in about 20 minutes. We're just talking back with the hammer and tap method. 2 hours for one hole, and you only get it down about a metre. Then you had to turn around and drill probably another 19 or so holes, depending on how many holes you needed. Okay, so a great machine. This mine, with compressor up in the engine room, could run 12 of these machines at once. Question? We call it Goldmine. Well, more often than not, it was called fracture, was the correct name for it. They used to put 3 sticks of this into each of the hole. This piece of stuff here is what we call safety fuse. You light it and it'll burn at a nice steady rate. On one end of it you'll crimp that on, that's called a detonator. That's pushed down into the powered Goldmine, lowered into the hole by the fuse, and of course the fuse was cut to different lengths. And the powder man's job, you'd light the long ones first, work his way in, and that's how you got your timing sequence, by the length of the fuse. You want the explosions to go off roughly half a second apart. Bang, bang, bang. That way it sort of cracked the rock up and broke it up for you. The powder man used to go around about 60 metres away, or a couple of bends away, sit down, and he had to count the number of explosions to make sure they all went off. If they didn't, when the dust had cleared, he had to come back and find the unexploded Goldmine. I think he did get paid a little bit better than most of the other people working in the mines. He had the most dangerous job of the lot. Nowadays, with the burn cut, we use this stuff down the bottom. About 1/3 of a stick. That's called power gel nowadays. So basically it's plastic explosive, about that much. Silver thing's still a detonator. This particular one has a little number 6 on the tag. Pink coloured tail tells me there's a 6 millisecond time delay built into that detonator. Push that in, lower it into the hole. Have different colours of these, give you the timing sequence. Hook all your wires up. Before you do that, you fill the hole up with that white stuff. The white stuff is referred to as ANFO. That's basically fertiliser and diesel. And I was told the other day the ratio is usually about 16 to 1. 16 fertiliser to 1 of diesel. And that's then called ANFO. It goes into the holes on top of the power gel. I'll get you to push this button for me. Just push it down and release it. Take your finger off straight away. No, yeah. Just got to push it down. Just release it straight away. We'll have another go in a moment. Just let it go through. Okay, just push him down and release it straight away. There we go. Better do it one more time for effect. Just push him down quickly and push it down. Can anyone see a pattern to how that went? Great little machine. They come out of America. They're actually called an Ermico rocker shovel, run on compressed air, run on the same railway, same size tracks as the little rock trucks. Ermico still make mining equipment today. They still make small stuff like this, but they also make some massive big mining equipment. Okay? Salt Lake City in Utah, apparently. This particular machine's a 1938 vintage. Back in 1938, this thing would have cost about £1,500